Holy monkey.
Hello everybody, and thanks for coming back to the channel. Today is the day where we show the flight footage, and I had such a good time. I was doing stuff that I probably shouldn't have, and I broke it. I snapped the VTX connector right off. But I don't really blame the vehicle for that. I blame the pilot, which that's me. What happened was I went inverted, and I was going to float through the air. You can't hardly see that. I was going to float through the air and take that horizon shot and then flip it back around, flip it back over, but I didn't chop throttle enough, and I ended up kind of powering into the ground upside down. And you see they got a little bend here, and you can probably see the stress marks in the carbon right there. But it held together well. You do see I also have some electrical tape on the ESCs, because I noticed on a few of my crashes they started coming up. As sticky as that stuff seemed to be here on the desk, it wasn't quite as sticky in practice. So I would recommend just use a little electrical tape and keep those suckers down. We don't want them floating up and getting chopped off. As far as this VTX goes, I'm going to repair this. I'm sure not going to let this go away, but I think I'm going to do it a bit differently. And I think what I'm going to do is possibly hollow out this top piece of the LED bar here so that I can get the VTX through there, and I'll mount it to the top. We have these two zip tie holes out here that shouldn't interfere too much with our session mount. And then I'm going to run my connector out here and then just bend the antenna up. So if I do that again, which I probably will, then it should just snap the zip tie that's connecting here. Possibly it would just come out this way rather than causing any more damage to the VTX. It would just kind of bend the antenna back to flat, and so it should keep my VTX in good shape. And quite honestly, I crashed it a number of different times trying different things I probably shouldn't have, so I couldn't tell you exactly when. Well, I know exactly when the antenna came disconnected, but I don't know how much damage it took up to before that, because I was flying around with so much camera tilt. I think it was about like that most of my landings were pretty rough too. But overall, I think the machine performs great. I think it's got plenty of thrust. I don't think it's got the top end you're going to find with top flight motors, but I don't think for around 200 bucks you can expect to buy something that's already made for you that's going to have a perfect racing setup. This is going to be really good for you to bind it up to your preferred radio and to go out and experience 5-inch flight. These props are another thing that are just ridiculous. This is the only set I've used. The ones in front of you, this is what I used through all my crashes. And I'm very pleased to say I'm going to continue to use them. They're durable. I'm sure there's probably more efficient props or better racing props. But as far as what comes with the set, I can't complain about them. Tuning with the board was really easy. I just tuned in the backyard a bit, and I took it out the field and flew, I don't know, 8 or 9 packs before I finally had the crash that ended it all. But I'm very happy with this. Hopefully you will be too. If you fly yours and you have it traditionally mounted, I would suggest that you go ahead and sacrifice the session mount that goes on top and just use that as your protection for your antenna. I don't have a session on mine, so the flight footage you're going to see is DVR footage, but I'm thinking very much about remedying the problem of not having a session. Maybe I'll go with that run camera that's out, or will be coming out, and then I'll be able to get some HD footage. But overall, I like the vehicle a lot. I tumbled a lot. Bottom plate's in great shape. The only damage that we really have was my inverted power into the ground crash, and I'm not too upset with that. Crashing and breaking these things, that's just part of the hobby, and I'll go ahead and fix that and fly it some more. If you have any questions or comments about this vehicle, you might go back and look at the desk review, and I'll put a card to that right up here so you can see all the details about this machine. And this is how I fixed it. I wired up a new VTX. I dremeled this out. I put some electrical tape around here just because I could see copper after I ground this down. It's not exactly as clean as it could be, but it did make the hole big enough to where I could get my VTX connector and everything that stick out there. I used one zip tie around here. You can see I've got a little bit of foam tape right in there, and nice and sturdy. Not going to go anywhere, and as a bonus, under a session mount fits perfectly. Next up is the flight footage, and yes, there is onboard video, so you won't have to listen to music or me talking. Enjoy!